Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. This is a special video because today I found something special, or at least I think it's something special. Now, if you go back to the 1980s, when I was a teenager and starting out with air rifles, one thing I absolutely loved was pump action air rifles, the pump up ones. I had a Crossman 2200, the plastic stocked one. I've still yet to find a wooden stocked one, but if I found one I would buy it. And I had probably, I think it was a 7.66 at some point that leaked really badly, so you had to put loads of pumps in it just before you shot it, otherwise nothing had happened. And I had a 2100 as well, the Crossman 2100, which was the 2200 Magnum but in 177, which could also fire BBs. Now they are an interesting kind of gun. They were PCPs before PCPs were really generally available. We're talking back in the 80s, so it was a recoilless, smooth, powerful action that there was like nothing else that was around at that time, really. It's the only way to describe it. The downsides of a pump action are obviously that you have to put several pumps into the gun to bring it up to enough power, and when you consider that we were using these guns, aside from shooting acorns out of trees and tin cans and things like that, we would go rabbit shooting or squirrel shooting, and we'd go off and go for the weekend. We were 13 or 14 years old, like 3 or 4 of us would just disappear off the weekend with a piece of tarpaulin, a way of making fire, and our air rifles, and that was it. And our parents were fine with that. Yeah, we'll see you on Sunday evening. So shooting squirrels was, my Crossman was fantastic. It really was. The barrel was only loosely fixed to the front of the action, so if you used it with a scope you kind of had to push it all the way over to the right to make sure it shot in the same place. Actually, it was pony. It was rubbish. It was rubbish. But in the magazines of the time there was an American wonder gun. Okay, now a lot of you think the be all and end all of vintage air rifles a BSA Air Sporter. I may have explained before that never floated my boat. For me, it was the Sheridans, the Sheridan Silver Streak and the Blue Streak. I remember reading stories of, you know, people shooting doves at 100 yards with these things with open sights, and it was what all the American boys had. No, this kind of mythology grew up around them for me, and they were available in the magazines of the time in the UK. Now, bear in mind, I only found this afternoon, a very short while ago. I have got 3 or 4 bags for life of old airgun welds and air gunners and things like that from the 1980s and 90s down there. Trust me, I'm going to be trawling through them tonight looking for this gun, because I saw this. I went into take back a gun I'd repaired. I don't know if you saw there this week at Tim Bum's, the twat video this week. I'd done a repair and we were driving back from Bordeaux. So coming past the shop, so I thought, well, I'll just drop those in and see where I am. So I dropped in there and we went out the back and I saw this. I picked up another gun over there. There's a Diana 56 over there for repair. That will be coming up soon. But I saw this on the shelf and it's pretty and it doesn't look very used. And I thought, oh, that's nice. So what's that then? He said, oh, it belonged to somebody who wants to sell it. So he told me the price and I bought it. I thought it was, I had a recently, within the last 10 years, I had a Benjamin A392, is it, which is the modern version of this, and it was okay. And I thought it was one of those because I didn't have my reading glasses with me. I just thought, well, it's a Benjamin pump up of some description, and it looks in decent nick, and it wasn't very expensive, so I bought it. And then I got it home, and I'm thinking, this isn't like the ones I've known before. For a start, I've got a rocking safety catch there. I'm used to having a safety catch that goes through this part here, but the gun is completely untouched. Completely untouched. There's no marks on any screw anywhere on the rifle, and I've still got the warning sticker on the stock there. The only marks I can find on it are from production, and that is on the forearm here. an overrun of varnish running down that edge there where it was just too thick and it's run, and the same on that side. So the only marks I can see on them are from production, not from use, not from ownership. There's literally nothing else on there. And as I say, it's got a Sheridan sticker on the back there with the warnings, rather than having it on here. Because I thought, you know, I'm so used to having the warnings stamped on the action of the gun now, I was a bit surprised there was a sticker as well. But then I had a close look. Now I'm going to get my glasses here because I do need my reading glasses to see this. But this is where it started to make me think, because I know that the Benjamin I had was an A392 and it was clearly stamped as a 392, and you could get it in 177 or 22. Now bear in mind, when I got this home I had no idea what calibre it was. I didn't really care. I love a pump action rifle, and since the 1980s when I saw them in magazines, I've wanted one of these, because this is a Sheridan Blue Streak in 5mm calibre, which is 2.0 to you and me. It's a 2.0 and it's a Blue Streak, which made me think, oh, maybe this is one of the original 1990s ones. And on the other side I've got Sheridan Products Incorporated. What does it say there? Racine, or Racine, is it Racine? Wisconsin, made in the USA. Now I know Sheridan and Benjamin were taken over by Crossman and production moved to New York, but this would appear to come before them. And then when I checked out the rocker safety catch, well, they stopped manufacture of the rocker safety catch in 1991. So I might actually have a sleeper from the 1980s, possibly earlier, because they started making these, I believe, in 63, but it doesn't look like a 60s gun to me. This could be from the 1980s, and for whatever reason it was never used, and I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't use this gun. Now I have I tested it in the shop. I just basically put a pump into it, cocked it, closed it and fired it, and it went puffed, which you'd expect. I've just put some I had not many but a few 2.0 pellets, and with 8 pumps, which is what I remember my 392 wanted for 12 foot-pounds, with 3 pumps I'm getting 12 foot-pounds pretty much exactly with 2.0 pellets. I didn't put more than 8 pumps in because I didn't need to. I just wanted to check it all still works. So it is sealed and it is lovely. But I'm hoping my American cousins, friends over the water who know more about these things, I believe you're actually born with race memory of these guns. So I'm hoping somebody can tell me more. I've got a serial number. I'll give you the beginnings of the serial number, not the full thing, but it is a 6-digit number beginning 082. I've done brief searches on the internet, but I can find nothing to say that. And also, one thing that was on here when I got it home, there was a piece of black plastic. It's upstairs at the moment. I should have brought it with me. There was a piece of black plastic over this part here, and it reached down to the stock on each side and was contoured to clip onto the barrel. And it was just plastic, a soft black plastic, and when I went to take it off, it split in the middle because of age. It just broke, kind of crumbled into two and fell away. But I can only think that was there during delivery to protect the barrel while it was in transit. I can see no other reason for it to have been there. So I'm quite excited about this. I love it. I need to get myself a tin or two of 2.0 pellets because I can see this being something that would be of interest for people to see shooting as well. And I want to put it to the use it was designed for. It's gorgeous. It's one of those things that in the modern world, is there a place for a Sheridan Blue Streak? It's of a bizarre calibre that never really took off in Europe. I like it. I've got a few guns that are in 2.0, but it never really took off in Europe. It's a pump-up rifle, which gives great accuracy potential because you've got 0 recoil. but it's such a faff between the shots. I can't imagine in this day and age it being used for hunting, and it does seem a bit of a faff for plinking when you can just get a break the barrel, pop in your pellet and away you go. I mean, obviously I'm not going to compare it to PCPs, because who would own a PCP? It takes a very special kind of somebody to get enjoyment from shooting a PCP. But something like this is back to basic shooting. There's no scope rail. I remember for my 392, I bought a scope rail that actually went on the barrel up here, and I then put a pistol scope on it and made it into like a scout scope setup, a scout shooting setup, and that was quite effective. But that is it. I wanted to share my finding with you, and I wanted to ask if anybody knows more about this, because although I loved them and I wanted one since being 12 or 13 years old, never having had one, never really coming into contact with any, because they weren't a popular rifle in Europe, certainly not in the UK, few and far between. Anything you could tell me in comments down below would be most appreciated. Please like, comment, hit subscriptions, subscribe, hit notifications, all that stuff. But leave me a comment. Tell me if you know more about this, or if you had one, or different ways of telling different ages, what they're doing now. All of that kind of stuff I just think is really interesting. It might not be for you, but for me, airgun history is interesting, and history from within my lifetime is what I find interesting. So thank you very much for watching. Please tell me what you can about this. Please share any experiences you have with these, or even the Crossmans. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.